So, you're probably wondering what the hell this is, and why I'm having a pop at an 8-year-old film. Well, years ago, after seeing The Dark Knight Rises again, I had a great idea for a YouTube video. The writer would be pitching the script to a studio executive. So I spent way too much of my free time writing and recording this. Then, as is often the way with YouTube, I found the pitch meeting guy. You know the one. And I thought, shit, he's done it way better and way more professionally than I ever could. But I remembered some inspirational words I once heard about persevering, and I gave up on the idea immediately. Then, while clearing old shit off my laptop recently, I found the recording. Seemed a waste to just bin it, so I thought I'd put it on YouTube, where upwards of 6 people might listen to 2 or 3 minutes of it. So essentially, it's Christopher Nolan going through the script for The Dark Knight Rises to a studio executive and a band pot. And just like the movie itself, it's way too long. Anyway, away we go. Chris, great to see you again. Yeah, it's Christopher. Yes, it's great to be back. Sorry, Christopher. Just let me say that we all loved The Dark Knight. Great film, great acting, great box office. Oh, thanks. And I believe you've got your final draft of the sequel for us. Yeah, I have indeed. It's called The Dark Knight Rises, and I think it might be even better. Oh, wow. Well, we're all excited to hear it. I hope you don't mind the others being here, but everyone wants to know how this next one will go. No, that's no problem. I hope you like it. I'm sure we will. Now, please, get started. Okay, so I wanted to do a kind of James Bond cold opening. Sounds great. So we open on a group of hooded men being taken aboard a CIA jet. The CIA are taking a Russian scientist to protect him from the criminal Bane, who's after him. Some prisoners turn up in hoods who are part of Bane's organization. I love it already. The main CIA guy wants to interrogate them and find out more about Bane, so they take off. So once they're in the air, the CIA operative is asking about Bane and why he wears his mask. Then he pretends to shoot one of the prisoners and throw him out of the plane. He thinks this will scare the other hooded prisoners. Great. Genius. But the next one won't talk, and when the CIA guy asks why, another prisoner says, "Perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man for throwing him out of a plane." Sorry, Chris, are you doing that muffled voice because he has a hood on? Well, kind of, but I was thinking he would speak that way anyway. Yeah, how come? Well, you see, when they take his hood off, it is Bane, and he has this breathing mask thing on. Oh, wow, great. And then, sorry to butt in, but if they knew what he looked like, how did he get on board? Well, he's wearing a hood, isn't he? Yeah, Bampad, he's wearing a hood. Are you deaf or something? Well, I know that, but surely the CIA would have looked under the hoods. I mean, even if the Russians that handed them over were in on it, they didn't catch him already wearing a hood. Oh, he's got a point there, Chris. Christopher, I don't think anyone will pick up on that. Yeah, Bampad, no one will pick up on that. I didn't. Please, go on, Christopher. So then we see another plane approaching the CIA jet. It hooks a chain around it, and it drags it upwards, breaking off the wings and sending everyone on board flying. Amazing. And Bane's men rappel down to the captured plane to free Bane and capture the scientist. I love this action already. And they have a dead body with them, and they start to do a blood transfusion from the scientist. Oh yeah? Why's that? Well, Bane's plan is that the plane will look like it accidentally crashed, and the body of his man will have the scientist's blood in it. So blood tests will make it look like the scientist has died. Oh, that's incredible. So then... Oh, hang on. Now what? Well, firstly, the plane's had its wings ripped off hundreds of miles back, so it won't look like an accidental crash. Secondly, the plane's black box will reveal that it wasn't an accident. And thirdly, they don't identify plane crash victims using blood tests. There doesn't tend to be a lot of blood about in crash survivors. They'd most likely use DNA or something like that. Also, if Bain and his men were in the vicinity of the scientist long enough to hatch this plan, couldn't they just have snatched him there and then and faked his death some other way? Christopher, I really don't think people will be thinking about that, because it's so exciting and fast-paced. Yeah, Ben, but it's too fast-paced for people to think about stuff like that. Anyway, Bain escapes with the scientist, and we establish that he's a man of action, he's intelligent, and his men will sacrifice themselves for his mission. Amazing. Yeah, but couldn't you achieve the same thing by having the CIA plane picking up just the scientist to get him to safety, and then Bain being on the plane that attacks them? He boards the plane personally, and one of his men takes a bullet for him or something. The whole hooded thing and blood transfusion thing just seems a bit redundant. Bampot, have you ever written a film that's made $2 billion? No, so shut up. Anyway, then we get to Gotham City. Oh, excellent time for Batman to show up. Well, no, not yet. We're at a memorial celebration for Harvey Dent. It's been 8 years since the events of The Dark Knight, and they're celebrating the Dent Act, which has effectively eliminated organised crime in Gotham. Wow, it's been 8 years. You know, that could work out great. We can do films set in the time in between these movies. Well, no, not really. Oh yeah, how come? Well, you see, Batman has disappeared after The Dark Knight. He's essentially retired. Oh. Sorry, after the end of The Dark Knight, he retired. Why would he do that? Well, as we're going to see, he badly injured his knee, and he can barely walk. Also, the death of Rachel affected him so much that he decided to quit. Wow, that's dramatic. Wait a minute. Batman quit because someone he loved died. Yeah, that's right. But it was people he loved dying that made him want to be Batman. Well, yeah, but he really loved Rachel. Yeah, Bampot, you've obviously never met Maggie Gyllenhaal, so shut it. Sorry, Chris, go on. Wait. How will he be Batman again if he's fucked up his knee? Well, it's jumping ahead a bit, but he's going to get a device that attaches to his leg that not only means he can walk on it, but also kick through brick walls. You see, Bampot, Chris has it covered. And I bet that device thing comes in pretty handy when he's fighting Bane and his men. Well, no, actually, it'll never be seen or mentioned again. His knee just gets healed. Oh. Jesus. How far into this film are we, anyway? Well, we're about 10 minutes in by this point. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, stop derailing things, Bampot. So, at the celebration, Commissioner Gordon is feeling bad about Dent being hailed as a hero. He wants to spill the beans about him becoming Two-Face in his speech. A crisis of conscience. Gary Oldman will love that stuff. But he decides against it at the last minute. That's when we see Bruce Wayne hobbling about. One of his maids has broken into his safe, but he catches her. But then she kicks away his crutch and escapes out the window with a necklace. Oh wow, is it Catwoman then? It certainly is, yes. Amazing. So that's what spurs Bruce back into becoming Batman again. So a stolen necklace is enough to get him back to crime fighting. Nothing else of that magnitude has happened in 8 years. Well, also, he realises that she was dusting for his fingerprints. And, of course, he takes a fancy to Catwoman. Yeah, Bampot, we've got Anne Hathaway lined up. How could he resist? So this Batman's really governed by his back chubby then. He sure is. Yeah. Moving on, Christopher. So anyway, as I said, Bruce gets his knee fixed and his 8-year exile is over. Just one more thing. How long was he Batman in Batman Begins? Oh, well, a few days, I imagine, maybe a week or so. And at the end of Batman Begins, Gordon tells him about the Joker. So the Dark Knight pretty much kicks off after that. Yeah, that's right. What's your point, Bampot? Well, the events of the Dark Knight probably take a week or two, yeah? Yeah? So basically, he's only been Batman for a few weeks before he quits for 8 years. Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Oh no, don't worry about it. No one's going to think about that. Yeah, shut up. So anyway, then we get to see a new character. Is it Robin? Shut up, Bampot. Is it Robin? Well, it's a young cop called John Blake, who meets with Commissioner, so it is Robin then. Well, yeah, but that's going to be a twist at the end. Well, it's not much of a twist if everyone guesses it as soon as he turns up. Anyway, go on, Christopher. So Blake is dubious about the official version of events the night Harvey Dent was killed. He then is called into a dead body found in the water that leads from the sewers. He recognises the body as a dead kid that he knew from an orphanage. Oh, that's convenient. Shush. He goes to the home and learns that older kids have been going down into the sewers to get work. Oh, interesting. Then we switch to Catwoman again. She's giving Bruce's fingerprints to a mysterious guy. But the guy tries to double-cross her. Before he can kill her, she tricks him into using the cell phone of this governor character that she picked up at the party. Oh yeah? What does that do? Well, the governor's been hanging around with her since the previous night, so he's been reported as missing by his wife. He's all over the news. So, what, she's got him tied up somewhere then? No, he takes her to the meeting. He's just hanging around in this bar watching a news report about him being missing. So a governor goes off with a sexy young woman, doesn't contact his wife with some excuse, and just lets everyone think that he's missing. Well, he doesn't want people to know he's off with Catwoman. Yeah, so letting everyone think he's gone missing just brings more publicity. Didn't you see it was on the news? Now he'll have to face the press and the police when he could have just told his wife he was off fishing or something. I've got to agree with Bampot on this one. I've had a ton of affairs and I never let my wife think I've gone missing. Well, yeah, but we need it for Catwoman to show how clever she is. Oh, I suppose so. Keep going. Anyway, the cops turn up and a gunfight ensues. The bad guys escape into the sewers. Okay, this sounds good. Yeah, and then Jim Gordon shows up. He takes a couple of guys and follows them down. Oh, hold on. So this old police commissioner guy is leading a raid against armed men into the sewers? Well, he's a hands-on kind of a guy. He's an idiot. Bampot. Well, we need him to go down there so he can get caught by Bane. Oh yeah, forgotten about that guy. How far into the movie is this? About 30 minutes, I think. Yeah, we've not seen Batman yet. Well, hold on there, Bampot. I bet if Gordon's in trouble, Batman won't be far behind. Am I right, Chris? Yeah, it's Christopher. Well, no, actually, Gordon gets captured, but escapes himself by throwing himself into the water, and then Blake finds him at the same sewer exit as the body from before. Can I just check? This is a Batman movie, right? Bampot. Well, we need it so Bane can get Gordon's speech from earlier on, and also Bane can kill a couple of his guys to, show how evil he is. I thought you were portraying Bane as some sort of hero that was idolised by his men. Well, yeah, but he's also ruthless. Oh, okay. So Blake saves Gordon and then goes to Wayne Manor. Oh yeah, why does he do that? Well, his superiors don't believe Gordon when he says he saw an army of men down in the sewers. You what? Well, they ask him if he also saw giant alligators. So, after a very public gun battle, the commissioner goes into the sewers after the gunman. His men are killed, and he's captured, but after he escapes, they all think he made it up. Well, we need it for Blake to have this scene with Bruce Wayne. He tells Wayne that they need the Batman back. Right, so Blake knows Wayne has some connection with Batman. No, that's the big thing. Blake knows that Wayne is Batman. Oh, I get it. He's been digging around, doing detective work for years, and he's finally deduced that Bruce Wayne must be Batman. Oh, I suppose that might work. No, you're both way off. He knows Wayne's Batman because of a look. Say what? Yes, you see, Blake was an orphan, and he perfected this look that orphans have when they're pretending that everything is okay. And he meets Bruce one day when he's visiting the orphanage, and he recognises that look. So he sees someone using the pretending everything is okay look, and instead of thinking, this guy's really hurting on the inside, he thinks, this guy's Batman. And he's right. Well, I suppose it's more of a I am Batman look. What? Look, Christopher, I've defended a few things here, but I really think it would work better if Robin had actually figured it out from evidence rather than a Batman look. Well, I mean, I just need to get through this bit quickly. The script's already written and it's clocking in at nearly 3 hours as it is. Oh, okay, well, keep going then. So we need this bit of the story so Bruce Wayne can find out about Bane and Gordon. Then he goes to the hospital where Gordon is and breaks into his room by abseiling down the outside of the building in a balaclava. So Gordon's able to then give him some useful info on the army and the sewers. No, not really. He just says that Batman must come back, and then Bruce leaves. Riveting. Then Bruce follows Catwoman to a big charity ball. There he meets Miranda Tate, who works for Wayne Enterprises, and she asks about the clean energy project that he had shelved. Wait a minute, what's all this? Well, Wayne Enterprises were developing a clean energy project, but they decided that it could be dangerous, so Bruce Wayne has shelved it. And she's asking about it. So is she working with Bane then? Well, I'd rather not say at this point. Well, that's a yes then. Vampire, stop trying to figure out the twists. Anyway, Bruce Wayne dances with Catwoman at the ball, and they flirt a bit. This is more like it. She says there's a storm coming, and then he takes back the pearls she stole, but then she steals his car. Oh, fun. So then Bruce goes to see Lucius Fox. Lucius pleads with him to let Miss Tate see the clean energy project. Yep, she's a baddie. And he shows Bruce some new gadgets he's got. He shows him a plane thing that he calls the Bat. Excellent, a new plane, new toys to sell. I love it. And he says it's all working fine, except for the autopilot. Oh yeah, that sounds like a plot point right there. Yes, and it's here that Bruce Wayne gets his leg brace thing as well. The one that magically fixes his leg and is never seen again. Yeah, exactly. And here Alfred tells him about Bane. He was born and raised in Hell on Earth, a prison which is just a big pit. No one can escape it, but Bane managed it. Then he was trained by Ra's al Ghul. He was a member of the League of Shadows. Hey, I remember them. That's great. And then he was banished from them, so you know he's a threat when the League of Shadows don't like him. Well, yeah, but maybe he got banished for the same reasons as Bruce Wayne. Maybe he wasn't brutal enough. No, he's worse than them. Alfred Googled it. Oh, okay. So now we get to one of our big action set pieces. Oh, excellent. And can I just check, does Batman actually turn up now? Oh, yes, he does. Finally, we're about 45 minutes in. So this is set in the Gotham Stock Exchange. Now, before I start, do either of you know anything about trading and finances and stuff like that? Yeah, sure. Well, I bet, I suppose. Okay, well, probably best forget all of that. Most people that are watching it won't. That sounds ominous. So in this scene, we see Bane's men infiltrate the stock exchange with machine guns. How do they get past security? Well, that's the genius part. They hide the guns in bags and cleaning buckets, and even a shoe shine box. Oh, so sophisticated stuff then. And then Bane just walks in with a motorbike helmet on, and he takes out all of the front desk security in 5 seconds, hand to hand. Then they all go into the trading floor and they start shooting. Wait a minute, why doesn't Bane take out the front desk guys and then his men come in after him with their machine guns? Well, because then they wouldn't look clever for having the guns hidden in things. So, they shoot the place up, and then one guy says to Bane, "Hey, this is a stock exchange, there's no money you can steal here." And Bane says, "Really? Then why are you here?" Well, they're there to trade stocks, right? Yeah, but it's like stealing money, isn't it? No. Oh, isn't it? Well, it's a good line anyway. Jesus. So then Bane and his men hack into the stock market computer, and they have direct access to the online trading desk. So it doesn't get shut down in the event of a massive security breach. No. Okay. The Bane's man is uploading a program that will take 8 minutes, so they decide to go mobile while it uploads. Okay, now for some action, right? Yeah, that's right. The police have the building surrounded by now, but Bane is one step ahead. They let some hostages leave. Hey, I know this bit. They mingle in with the hostages. Oh, no. They burst through them on motorbikes, and they zoom away as the police give chase. Hang on, where did these bikes come from? Sorry, what? Well, where the fuck did these bikes come from? Did they have them in shoe shine boxes as well? Oh, well, I don't know, maybe there's a bike shop in the foyer of the Gotham Stock Exchange. Oh, I see, so you can get your shoes shined and your engine tuned between trades. Yeah, now you're getting it. Fuck me. So the police chase them, but Bane's men have hostages on the bikes, and they're getting away. But then, here he comes. Yeah, Batman turns up on his bike. He chases the terrorists, but unfortunately, the police become more interested in capturing Batman. What more interested in capturing the guy who's been missing for 8 years and is clearly helping them than terrorists who've killed people in the stock exchange and have taken live hostages? Well, it's because he killed Harvey Dent. Yeah, but they're letting hostages get taken away and probably killed. Well, yeah. So anyway, Batman is chasing this one guy, and he manages to get ahead of him and set up a wire to snatch the hostage off the back of the bike. And then he has his own bike go in front of the terrorist, so he crashes into it. Oh, wow. And he gets the iPad thing off him, but the program has just finished downloading. How does Batman know about the program downloading? That was only discussed inside the stock exchange by Bane and his men. Well, we need him to show it to the audience. Oh, okay. Then all the cops turn up and chase Batman, but letting the terrorist leader get away. Well, you see, I have this great scene where they think that Batman is trapped in a dark alley. But then he flies out in the bat that we saw earlier and escapes. It will look great in the pitch darkness of the night, flying out of the alley. It will be a great shot. Yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. Well, wait a minute, so it's night time now. Oh yeah, it's pitch black. But they were just in the stock exchange, which I assume shuts about, 5 p.m? Well, obviously the terrorists were in there for a long time, Bampot. No, it's specifically been 8 minutes between them hacking the computers and Batman catching the guy. And this is like, a few minutes later? Well, he's got a point there, Christopher. Well, yeah, I know, but the thing is, I need it to be very dark for the Batplane shot. So we'll just have to hope that no one notices. Brilliant. So then we switch to one of our antagonists, Daggett. Daggett? Who's this now? Well, he's a member of the Wayne Enterprises board who wants Bruce out of the way. He brought Bane into Gotham to get control of Wayne Enterprises. Catwoman wants this program of him called the Clean Slate. Okay, what's this all about? Well, it's a program that wipes all your criminal records. So Catwoman wants it so she can leave her life of crime behind. Yeah, but that's bullshit, right? Nothing could do that. And there's still paper records around. Well, yeah, I suppose that's kind of the point. You see, Daggett tells her that it doesn't work. Right, so what's the point of introducing it into the story now? Well, it's going to come up later, isn't it? Right. So Catwoman gets into a fight with loads of henchmen. And Batman turns up to help her out. How does he know where she is? Wasn't he just escaping from the cops a few minutes ago? Well, he just does. So they're beating up the bad guys and then Bane turns up. So they escape in the Batplane. Well, lucky he flew right there. So Batman drops her off and he flies back to the Batcave. He speaks with Alfred, and Alfred says he doesn't want anything to do with Batman being back. He has a very emotional scene, and then he leaves. Hey, Michael Caine will like that. So Alfred just abandons him? Well, he says he doesn't want to have to bury him. So he buggers off. Great. Well, he thinks by leaving and telling Bruce about Rachel choosing Harvey over him, it will stop him being Batman again and ultimately save his life. And does it? No, Bruce just tells him to go. Wow, that plan worked out well then. So the next day, Lucius Fox shows up at Wayne Manor. He tells Bruce that Bane had placed a number of put options, investments using Bruce Wayne's fingerprints ID, and now he's lost all of his money and he's broke. What, in one day? Yeah, he's flat broke now, and Daggett's going to use this to take over Wayne Enterprises. I don't think that's how trading put options work. Well, I saw it on a program about the financial crash, and I just like the sound of it. How would Bruce Wayne losing his money affect Wayne Enterprises? Well, obviously, as the CEO, the company's money and his money are sort of, linked. Yeah, that's not how businesses work. And also, I don't think trades made during a terrorist attack on the stock market would really stand up. Well, I suppose I can have Lucius say that they may be able to prove fraud later. You see, I need this so that he decides to trust Miranda Tate and show her the clean energy project. Ah, right, so this is all part of the bad guy's plan. Well, yeah, but they haven't figured that out yet. Well, no, only everyone watching it will have figured that out. So Bruce Wayne goes to a board meeting, and he convinces them to appoint Miranda as his replacement. Then he leaves, and because they're repossessing his car, he has to get Blake. Whoa! They're repossessing his car the very day that he lost all of his money? Yeah. Hey, these repo guys move fast in Gotham City, Bampot. So Daggett is unhappy at not getting control of Wayne Enterprises, and he speaks with Bane. And it turns out that Bane says everything is going to plan. Right, so he's definitely working with Miranda Tate then. And then Bane reveals that he's been using Daggett's construction company for his own plans, and he kills Daggett. So Daggett's been in it and had about 5 lines. Wow, he'll be missed. Blake drops Bruce off at Catwoman's place. He asks her to show Batman where Bane is. Then Blake visits Gordon. He says that he's found Daggett's body and the company has been doing lots of work in the tunnels. Gordon decides to step up the searches. So him seeing an army down there wasn't enough for him to spring into action, but some construction plans are. Yes. Then we cut to Bruce Wayne getting home. He's got no keys, and because Alfred's left, he can't get in. What a fucking idiot. And Miranda Tate is there. So they break in, and it turns out the power company has cut off his power. What, already? Well, yeah. Chris, have you ever missed paying a bill to a power company? No, not really. They don't just suddenly cut you off. It takes weeks, maybe even months. Yeah, but Bruce Wayne is now bankrupt, so I just assumed that it would happen immediately. Well, no. Bankrupt people don't live in houses with no power, you know. So anyway, he spends a romantic evening with Miranda Tate in front of the fire. Well, he's met her about 2 times, so I take it he really is over Rachel then. Then Batman meets Catwoman, and she takes him to see Bane. When he gets there, he gets locked into a room with him. Catwoman has set him up. Yeah, but didn't he want to fight Bane? I mean, he wasn't going there to have a chat with him. Anyway, they fight, but Bane's too strong and fast for Batman. He taunts him by saying things like, "You fight like a younger man, admirable, but mistaken." And, "You merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it." He reveals they're under Bruce Wayne's armory, and then he breaks Batman's back. Holy shit. Well, I have to admit, having Batman crippled and out of the fight, that is unexpected. Yeah, I told you it would be great. You know, as long as you don't cop out and have him get magically healed or something. Oh shit. Then we cut to the next day. Catwoman is heading to the airport, but Blake sees her and confronts her. He has a big file on her. A paper file? Yeah, why? Oh, nothing. He asks her for help, but she's too scared of Bane. Then we cut to Bruce Wayne being dragged in chains to the prison pit that we heard about earlier. The one in another country? Yeah, it's like, I don't know, the Middle East or something. Well, how did they get there? Oh, I don't know, a private jet, I suppose. So they take Bruce down there, and it's a big ancient pit with no way out from the inside. It's got cells and stuff in it. Bane talks to Bruce, and he says he wants him to watch what's going on to Gotham to torture his soul. How's he going to watch? Has Bane installed cable TV in this pit in the middle of nowhere? Vampire, don't be stupid. Well, actually, he has. Ha! Oh. So we switch back to Gotham. Catwoman has been put in prison now. Lucius Fox and Miranda go into the boardroom, and there they're confronted by Bane and his men. Wow, that Bane gets around fast, huh? Bane takes the board members into the sewers, and we cut to Gordon being briefed on it. He tells the officer Foley to send all the police into the sewers. What, all of them? Yeah, Foley says, I'm sorry I didn't take you seriously before. Yeah, if they'd just believed their own commissioner, who was seen going into the sewers after a gunfight and lost men down there, then that could have really screwed up Bane's plans. Lucky they're so dumb. Well, yeah, but as I said, I need Bane to get Gordon's speech somehow. Oh, that's fine then. Now we go back to Bruce in the pit. He's being cared for by 2 inmates. They see one of the inmates attempting an escape. He climbs up the inside of the pit, but near the top, he has to make a jump from one ledge to a much higher ledge. He misses and falls, but he has a safety rope on. The inmates tell Bruce that only one person has ever managed to jump and escaped. A child. What, a kid could make this jump that adults can't? Yes, you see, the child had something that the adults didn't. Is it smaller limbs and much weaker muscles? Bampat. No, the child had fear. And this made them bigger and stronger than adults. Well, you know, children can be very quick and agile. Yeah, I don't know if you follow athletics at all, but very few world records for things like the long jump or high jump are held by children. None, in fact. Anyway, I need it to be a child so that we can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. How come? Well, Bruce thinks the child is Bane, but it's going to turn out later that it's someone else, and Bane was just protecting her in the pit. So it's Miranda Tate then. Well, yeah, but it's a big twist. Yeah, but is it a necessary twist? The film's nearly 3 hours long. Well, I think it is, anyway. Back in Gotham, Bane takes Lucius Fox and Miranda to the clean energy device and forces them to activate it. All of the cops in Gotham are now underground, thousands of them. Or even the 2/3 of them that wouldn't have been scheduled to be working. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I mean, it's overtime, I suppose. So now we go back to Bane, and the Russian scientist has converted the clean energy device into a nuclear bomb. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about him. God, he works fast. And Bane removes the core from the reactor, and the scientist says that this will cause it to explode in a matter of months. Bane says he reckons about 5 months. Ah, a ticking clock, huh? Yes, exactly. Yeah, a really, really vague, long way off ticking clock. Then we see Blake investigating the construction crews, and he gets into a fight with them. I've got this great idea where he shoots one by ricocheting the bullet off a construction vehicle. Yep, impossible. Blake sees that they're making explosives, and he realises that the cops are walking into a trap. So he radios Foley to have him pull all the men out of the sewers. Hey, that's sensible at least. Then we cut to a local football game, where the mayor is going in to watch the game. Bane is watching from the sidelines as a kid sings the national anthem, and then, when the game kicks off, he detonates the underground bombs, and bombs in the box seats where the mayor is. So if the mayor was outside the stadium when Blake called Foley, I assume by the time he gets to the box and listens to the anthem that all the cops are out of the tunnels. No, the cops are all trapped. The footballers and the mayor are killed, and all the bridges into Gotham are destroyed. Then Bane addresses the crowd at the game. Well, this ought to be good. He gets the scientist to confirm the existence of the bomb, and then he kills him, as only he could disarm it. He tells the crowd and watching public that the bomb is mobile, and the trigger man is a mystery, a citizen of Gotham. Right? What difference does that make? Well, if people don't know who has the trigger, they won't be able to stop them. Yeah, but what difference does it make if it's just one of Bane's hundreds of men? Well, it's going to be a twist reveal at the end, isn't it? What, another one? So it's for the viewer, really, not the people in the movie. Well, yeah, I suppose. Anyway, Bane tells them that he's come here to liberate them and return control of the city to them. He tells them if they try to leave, or anyone tries to help from outside Gotham, they'll all die. And then he tells them to go home and wait to reclaim what is rightfully theirs. Okay, I'm a bit confused here. Is Bane trying to come across as some kind of people's hero, liberating them? Yeah, exactly, yeah. After murdering innocent footballers and civilians and threatening to kill everyone with a nuclear bomb. It's not exactly Martin Luther King, is it? Who's going to believe anything that he says? Well, his whole thing is that he wants to give them hope before blowing them up in a few months. Well, what difference does it make to him if they die now or later? Well, I have to give Bruce Wayne time to heal and get back to stop him. Oh, so it's only necessary for the story to continue. Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. So Blake has got Gordon, and they decide he needs to get in front of a camera. But then Bane shows up in front of Blackgate Prison, and he announces that the prison is a symbol of oppression. What, the oppression of locking up criminals? Well, yeah, and then Bane reads out Gordon's speech from before, detailing how Harvey Dent went mad and killed people. So now everyone's just fine with him letting all the prisoners go. Yeah, and they just believe that this speech is real because the maniac who killed hundreds of people and is threatening to nuke them says so. Well, yeah, but this is paying off the Harvey Dent story from the last film. Yeah, I never really got that. I mean, just because a DA went crazy, I don't think it means everyone that he got convicted would just get out. Well, yeah, but they were convicted specifically by him. Yeah, but he didn't just say, honestly, Judge, they are guilty, you can trust me. He still had to have evidence in a trial. I just don't think if a guy goes crazy after losing his girlfriend and having half his face blown off, that it means all past cases would be null and void. But in this world, they would. Bam, Pat, let's just get to the end of this. So Bane has all the prisoners released, given guns, in the name of fighting corruption and giving Gotham back to the people. Yeah, that sounds legit. And now the people of Gotham turn on the rich to punish them for their decadence. You know, at this point, I want these people to get nuked. We then switch back to Bruce Wayne in the pit. His carer tells him about a mercenary who fell in love with a local warlord's daughter. The warlord found out and exiled the mercenary, and he put his own daughter in the pit. Why? What did he have against the mercenary seeing his daughter? I don't know. Oh, well, that's honest at least. The warlord's daughter was pregnant and had a child in the pit. One day, the prisoners attacked and killed the mother, but the child was saved by a protector. Are you introducing another mystery into the script about 2 hours in? Well, yeah, you can never have too many plot lines going on. Anyway, now Bruce Wayne's broken back is fixed by being hung up by ropes and punched in the spine. So then, whoa. His broken back is fixed by being punched in the spine by a prison inmate? Well, yeah, it's a common thing, I think. Does the medical community know about this? Then Bruce Wayne is left hanging until he's all better. Wow. While he's there, Bruce hallucinates Ra's al Ghul speaking to him. Hey, I'll get Liam Neeson on the phone right away. How long are we going to need him for? Well, he's only going to be there for about 20 seconds. So what's the point? Well, it will remind people of Batman Begins. Ah, yeah, a better movie that actually made some sense. Then we go back to Gotham, and we see by the snow that months have passed. The police are being supplied in the sewers. Blake and Gordon are trying to track the movement of the convoys that the bomb might be in, so they can get what would need to be tons of food and water down to the sewers every day, but not free any of the cops. Meanwhile, Bruce is all better and he's training to make the jump to freedom. The jump a child could make. He fails a few times because he's not suffered and endured the pain of the child. And he doesn't have child legs and muscles either, remember? In Gotham, a special forces team has sneaked in disguised as suppliers. They don't want to make a move until they can identify the trigger man. So Gordon takes them to meet Lucius Fox and Miranda. And Lucius Fox tells them about the fact that the bomb will go off in 23 days. Whoa, hang on. That's very exact for something that was vaguely a matter of months before. Well, I decided we needed to tighten up the ticking clock. Right, okay, so just rewrite the bit where they're vague about it and have them give an exact number. No. Oh, okay. Then the Special Forces guys are ambushed and killed by Bane's men. So this whole bit was pointless then. Well, I need the audience to know about the 23 days. Jesus. Back in the pit, Bruce Wayne realizes he has to do the jump with no safety rope. So now he has the fear. Yeah, this whole script gives me the fear. So he makes the jump and escapes the pit. He tosses a rope back down so the other prisoners can escape. So there's no guards or anything at this pit. No, they don't need any. It's inescapable, remember? Yeah, but anyone can just walk up to it and toss down the rope. Like one of the prisoner's friends or family or something. Well, yeah, but, no one thinks about that. Then back in Gotham, we see a trial taking place. Scarecrow is passing sentence and he offers Daggett's lackey a choice of exile or death. Oh boy, that's a tricky one. But you see, exile involves walking over the frozen river. The lackey does this and he goes through the ice and dies. Apparently no one has ever made it. Now in this situation, I would say that a child probably would do better. So then we see Gordon and his men trying to figure out a plan. And Gordon says there's only 18 hours to go till the bomb goes off. Christ, they've got it down to hours now. Gordon goes to see Foley, who's keeping his head down to stay safe. He tells him they need his help, but he declines. He says it's too risky, as the trigger man might set off the bomb. Right, so Gordon explains about the whole ticking clock and the 18 hours and all that. No, not really, no. But then Miranda Tate shows up with Blake, and she asks to help Gordon. And we cut to Catwoman helping a kid who's been attacked by two guys. Then Batman turns up out of the shadows. Wow, he timed his recuperation escape and travel back to the other side of the world pretty well. Got there with hours to spare. Batman asks for Catwoman's help and offers her the clean slate in return. The bullshit MacGuffin that couldn't possibly work. And he says she has to help him because the bomb will go off tomorrow. How does Bruce Wayne know about that? Well, he probably spoke to Lucius Fox, right, Chris? No, he actually needs Catwoman to find Lucius Fox. So how does he know about the timing then? Well, he's Batman, isn't he? Oh, okay. Then Gordon gets captured and taken to the courtroom. He's also offered exile or death, and he chooses death. Why? Well, he figures that the ice is just too risky, and he thinks death will be less risky. Well, it doesn't matter because Scarecrow says, I sentence you to death. Death by exile. So Gordon has to make a stupid choice so that you can have that joke. Yeah, exactly. And while he's taken away, Bane says, bring her to me, and points at Miranda Tate. Because she's a baddie. Well, we don't know that yet. Then we see a hooded figure being brought in by Bane's men. He's dumped beside Lucius Fox and Miranda Tate. His hood's taken off, and it's Bruce Wayne. Wait a minute, Miranda Tate's back with Lucius Fox after Bane just took her aside when Gordon was sentenced. Yeah. So Bane's just let her go free then. That's a bit of a red flag, isn't it? Well, we're nearly at the end. Thank Christ. Catwoman busts Bruce Wayne and Lucius Fox away from Bane's men, and Bruce goes to get kitted out as Batman and get his EMP device off his plane, which has been sitting on a roof somewhere, for 5 months and no one's noticed it. Then we cut back to Gordon and his men being forced to walk across the ice. So how long has it been now since the sentencing? It sounded like they were taking him right there, but Bruce Wayne and Lucius Fox have had time to escape, get the Batsuit, get to the plane to get the EMP thing. Well, it's dark now. Oh, it's dark now, right. So let me guess. Just like the plane sequence earlier, you need it to be dark now for some cinematic reason. So actual time passing just gets pissed about with. Well, it'll be worth it. You see, Gordon sees a flare on the ice, and then all Bane's men are taken out silently. Batman shows up out of the shadows and says, "Light it up," and the flare sets off a fire trail that leads along the ice and up to the top of the bridge, where it sets off a giant fiery bat signal. Ah, okay, hence the darkness then. Yeah, exactly. It's a symbol for the whole world to see that Batman is back. Well, so much for the element of surprise. I guess asking how long it took him to prepare this and how he knew that Gordon would be under it on the ice is a waste of time. Well, it's because he's Batman. Yeah, I thought so. Then we see Blake being attacked by Bane's men. They're about to kill him when Batman turns up, as if by magic. Batman beats up the bad guys and tells Blake he should wear a mask if he's going to fight baddies. Not for himself, but to protect the ones he loves. Oh, that's subtle. He gives Blake a bomb, and he says count to 5 and then throw it. Blake immediately throws it at a blocked tunnel, but it doesn't blow a hole big enough. Will he count to 5 before he throws it? No, he'll probably just throw it right away and it'll blow up about a second later. Right, so if he did count to 5, he'd be dead. Then the Batplane swoops in and blows a bigger hole so the trapped men can get free. How quickly does Batman get away from the scene and into his plane and then fly it down to shoot the debris of the hole? Oh, about 5 seconds. 'Cause he's Batman? Yeah, right. So now all the cops are coming out. And after 5 months underground, living off scraps, I imagine they're in pretty bad shape, all unkempt and weakened. No, not at all. They look fine. No, of course not. Batman tells Blake to lead an exodus, while he and the cops lead an assault on Bane. Then he takes Catwoman to where he's stashed his bike, and he tells her to create a hole in the tunnel so more people can escape. He says they've got 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm saying nothing. Catwoman says that she's just got to escape, and she asks Batman to come with her, but he stays. So we're all set up for the final showdown. Catwoman speeds off into the dark. Finally. Then we cut to the police, all standing in the morning sun waiting to charge. So it's gone from night to day in less than 45 minutes. Yeah, well, I need to see this battle happening in daylight so that we can see the fighting clearly. Bane's men turn up to disperse the cops. Foley's there now, and he leads the charge. Have the police been armed? No, but they heroically charge Bane's men anyway. We're armed with machine guns. Doesn't sound heroic, sounds like suicide to me. And Bane's men charge at them too. What, instead of keeping their distance and just shooting them with their guns? Batman faces up to Bane, and Bane says, "So, you came back to die with your city?" And Batman says, "No, I came back to stop you." Wow, what an amazing comeback. Then they fight, and we cut to Gordon getting onto the bomb truck with the EMP device. But it's empty. They've got the wrong truck. Batman and Bane seem evenly matched, but now Batman knows that Bane needs his mask, so he starts punching it. Well, he didn't think that maybe the mask with breathing tubes in it was a vulnerable point the first time they fought. No. He kicks Bane into the City Hall building, and he's screaming at him to tell him where the trigger is. And then, out of the blue, Miranda Tate stabs Batman from behind and reveals that she is the child of Ra's al Ghul, the one that escaped the pit. What a shocker. And she has the trigger. She gives a little speech about avenging her father and finishing off his work, and then she presses the trigger. Great, Gotham blows up, and we can all go home. No, because Gordon has managed to get the EMP device on the right truck. Oh, bugger. But he's only bought them 11 minutes. We see the countdown clock in the truck ticking down. So there is a literal ticking clock attached to it now. Fucking hell. Well, we need a visual way to show the audience about the time that's left. So Miranda Tate leaves to get to the truck with the bomb. Well, why does she do that? I mean, it's going to blow up anyway without her being there. And Bane goes to shoot Batman, but then Catwoman shows up on the Batbike and shoots Bane. Wow, if only Batman had thought of shooting Bane months ago. So Miranda Tate gets into the truck for no reason. And then Batman and Catwoman, they go to the truck and take out the escorts. I've got this great idea that one of them will fire heat-seeking missiles at the Batplane, but Batman will go round in a big circle and the missiles will shoot back and destroy the escort. So this Batplane can fly supersonic. No, the missiles are just really, really slow. And then he takes out the truck and it crashes, and we see that there's only 4 minutes left. So all of this took 7 minutes in real time. And Gordon gets out the back of the truck and he sees that Miranda Tate's dying. She tells Gordon that she's overridden the reactor, so getting it there to Lucius Fox to make it safe would have been a waste of time. So then why did she do all of this to stop them? She could have just let them take it to the reactor and sat on her arse. Well, for the twist. And we see the reactor flooding and Lucius Fox escaping, and then we cut back to Batman, Gordon and Catwoman, and they all stand and watch Miranda Tate delivering her dying monologue, while a nuclear bomb is ticking down to explode. Well, we need to give Miranda Tate a bit of a dramatic ending. Now we can see there's less than 2 minutes to go. So Batman ties a cable to the bomb, and then he has a bit of a smooch with Catwoman, while a nuclear bomb is ticking down to explode. And then Gordon asks Batman who he is, so that the people will know. And Batman tells him that a hero can be anyone, even a cop, putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders to let him know the world hadn't ended. And Gordon remembers that he did that for a young Bruce Wayne, while a nuclear bomb is ticking down to explode. So then Batman flies out over the ocean with the bomb, and we see it exploding a few miles away. Blake looks on sadly, and we see that the cops have overcome Bane's men, his heavily armed men. Gotham is saved. What? Oh, I think I fell asleep there. So what, it's over then? The end? No, there's still about 15 minutes to go. Shit. We see Gordon reading a eulogy for Bruce Wayne at his funeral. Alfred is there, and he's distraught. He says, "I failed you, Master Bruce," and he cries a lot. Oh, poor guy. And Blake has quit the force. We see a statue to Batman being unveiled, and we hear the reading of Bruce Wayne's will. The house is to be sold to settle the accounts, with the rest of the cash going to Alfred. and the house and grounds are left to the city to use as an orphanage. Wait a minute, I thought the house was being sold to settle the accounts and give the rest to Alfred. Well, yeah, but, only if they use it as an orphanage. Well, who the hell's going to agree with that? Never mind. We see Blake picking up what Bruce Wayne left him, and we find out here that his real name is Robin. What a shock. Then we see Lucius Fox being briefed on the remaining bat planes, and the engineer tells him that the autopilot is now fixed. Fixed by Bruce Wayne. Really? Then we see Alfred going to the restaurant that he told us about earlier. He gets his drink, and he looks over, and he sees, is it Bruce Wayne and Catwoman? Yeah, that's right. And he smiles, and he has a tear in his eye, and he gives Bruce a little nod, and then he leaves. Yeah, presumably to get a gun and shoot the bastard. Imagine letting Alfred think he'd failed him for all this time. Jesus, what if Alfred had killed himself with remorse? Oh, well, he wasn't that bothered. And how can former billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne be openly swanning around and everyone think that he's dead? I mean, Twitter would be all over it. Well, he's got longer hair now. Then we see that Blake has been left the Batcave, so he can now become the new Batman. Hey, I smell a sequel. Yeah, except Blake was never trained by the League of Shadows, and he doesn't have Alfred around to help him. So presumably, the first time he comes up against a gang of thugs, he'll get his shit kicked in. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Chris, is that it? It's Christopher. Yeah, I say Chris. So, what do you think? I'm sensing some negativity. Bampart? Well, it's too long. There's too many pointless attempts at twist reveals. Too many characters who've got no impact on the plot at all. Very little of it makes logical sense. Time seems to speed up and slow down, depending on whether or not you need it to be dark or not. And the ending is just nonsense. Yeah, but on the positive side, we know that it's going to look great, and the actors are good, and it is coming after The Dark Knight, which was great, and so it's bound to make at least half of what that did, which is a cool $1 billion, so I'm happy enough with that. Well, I have been spending a lot of time on these other scripts I've been working on. Yeah, some other time, maybe, Chris. Show Chris out, will you? Yeah, it's Christopher. One is about people invading dreams, and one is about people moving backwards. Yeah, bye, Chris. Bampart? Yeah. Pour me a drink, will you? Yep, I know exactly how you feel.